Over a year ago, I'd reviewed the Samsung Galaxy Buds, and back then I'd reviewed around 15 different True Wireless earbuds. Now I've reviewed in excess of 60 different True Wireless earbuds, and the Buds Plus come in at an interesting price point. They cost around $110 in the US and around £130 in the UK. Now if you're interested in purchasing them, the locally link in the description below will take you to your localized Amazon store, and furthermore you'll also find suggestions and alternatives that I have reviewed or heard myself. Also down there you'll find a link to my Instagram, and yes, that's a shameless plug. It's at TotallyDubbed if you do use that social media platform. And if you're interested in all electric or hybrid news or reviews, do check out Totally EV. Your support would be equally appreciated. So first off, in terms of what you get inside the box, you've got the earbuds and their charging case, you've got a USB Type-C to Type-A cable, and then you've got a selection of large and small and medium tips, and then also different ear wings. So in other words, you can have ones with or without, depending on your preference. So it's great to see this. In terms of fits, this means that they can be suitable for gym wear. Now in terms of their battery life, the charging case with the earbuds will provide up to 22 hours, whilst the earphones themselves will last around 11 hours on a single charge, which is actually pretty impressive. Now the earbuds themselves can be charged within the case, obviously, and the case itself can be wirelessly charged or via USB Type-C. They support fast charge as well, so therefore with a 10-minute charge you'll get around 3 hours of playback, at least quoted by Samsung. Now in terms of the earbuds themselves, they're actually very lightweight and extremely portable. In this respect, in my case, I had no issues with these kind of flanged silicone tips, or the ear wing, shall we say. As I said, you can change them if you so wish, and the design itself is available in a variety of different colors. This is the white model that you can see in front of you right now. Now they do still adopt the same sort of approach in terms of touch sensitive buttons. However, I feel like Samsung have tuned this over the regular buds because they just feel a little bit more responsive, and furthermore don't require you to frantically tap on their pads. So in this point it's actually an improvement and allows you to skip previous and control your media wirelessly, so to speak, just via your earbuds. The earbuds themselves are very comfortable. I had no issues with that, and given their size as well, the ergonomics is pretty good, and therefore you don't suffer too much from wind noise. Elsewhere, in terms of connection, and we'll touch upon this later, they're obviously Bluetooth products. They connect over the SBC, AAC and Samsung's scalable codec if you have the supported Samsung phone. On the subject of connectivity, I had no issues with video delays or lag with my Samsung Galaxy S10 Plus, so no issues to report over here, and I can safely say that the Buds Plus do a good job, very much like the regular buds. Furthermore, in terms of connectivity between each other, here in this respect it was a massive problem for the Samsung Galaxy Buds, the version 1, whereas the Buds 2 over here, or the Buds Plus shall we say, have no issues that I can report. So I had no issues in terms of latency and again connection between each other. They weren't desynchronizing from each other and instead were flawlessly connected to each other. And here in terms of connectivity to my phone, it was actually pretty impressive in this respect that they connect simultaneously, or absolutely instantaneously shall I say, to my phone. Speaking of which, you've got the connection to the app, and this is the Samsung Wearable App. Now you can see you've got the ambient mode toggle, so you can enable a level of different ambient sounds. In my case, obviously, I just leave it disabled because I don't need it, but you can enable that, which is nice to see. In terms of equalizer, unfortunately, you haven't got a several band equalizer, and you have to go based on these pre-assigned profiles. The best one over here is in dynamic mode, but we'll touch upon this in the sound quality section, as you might want to just leave it on the normal mode because, well, it just gives you the better sound frequencies. In terms of the touch controls, you can see over here you can block the touch, and if you were to touch and hold, this is kind of the tertiary function I was talking about, you can adjust this via voice command, ambient sound, or volume up and down. Unfortunately, you can't customize the other touch functions, so the single tap or the double tap functions, or even the triple tap. You can't customize these. The only one you can is the touch and hold, but that's good to see that you've got a variety of different controls to choose from. You can enable or disable the read notifications. In terms of the ambient sound during calls, you can have that enabled via the advanced tab. In terms of labs, this is just kind of experimental stuff, but the things might be applicable to you. You can find your earbuds as well and reset them as well, and also check for your firmware updates. And now we get onto performance. Now everything you can hear right now is coming directly from the Buds Plus. In this respect, I found that the audio quality is actually pretty good. It does pick out my voice pretty accurately, and while it does cut off the low-end tones, on the whole it will come across pretty well when it comes to a call. The only issue is if you're going to be in a crowded environment, or indeed if you've got a busy environment around you, then the Buds Plus do struggle a little bit with cancelling out the external noises and actually honing into your voice, instead of kind of jumbling up those frequencies that you hear around you with your own voice. By comparison, here are the Jabra Elite 75T, which I would normally benchmark across other earphones. You can see here the Jabras do a little bit of a better job in terms of portraying my deeper voice, if that makes sense. Not that I've got a really deep voice anyway, but also I should say that the Jabras do a better job at cancelling external environment sound from my voice, and therefore gives it a bit more voice clarity if you're going to be in, let's say, a crowded area. And now we get on to sound quality. Now, first off, in terms of Bluetooth codec support, they support the AAC and SBC codecs. But if you do have a Samsung smartphone and that's running Android 7 or above, so that should be quite a lot of Samsung smartphones out there, then you'll have Samsung scalable codec support. It's still a shame not to see aptX, aptX-HD or LDAC codec support, but it's almost no surprise given that we're talking about a Samsung product, and often you don't see those codecs supported across most of Samsung's line, be it from £1,100 soundbars to, well, True Wireless earbuds. Now, in terms of the overall sound frequencies, let's break it down. First off, let's talk about sub-bass, which is the rumble, that low end that you would get. Unfortunately, that's not really the case with the Buds Plus. Very much similar in terms of the regular Samsung Buds. I had the same sort of experience, and here there is no real excuse, but a lot of its competitors, even cheaper alternatives such as the Creative Outlier Air, produce a far better experience in this domain, giving you a much more, well, low-end rumble that you might crave, specifically if you're listening to, let's say, R&B or dance music. As for the mid-bass, it is tight and controlled, but it's a little bit subdued. Now, while I did say before you could EQ it, you can go into the dynamic mode in terms of EQ, the problem here is that this will accentuate the highs and mids to a point where it becomes unbearable to listen to. Of course, your mileage may vary. But if you put it in the dynamic mode, yes, it will make it sound more dynamic and therefore boost up the mid-bass a little bit. So you can do that. However, in my case, I couldn't do that because the earphones became unbearable to listen to, specifically if you listen to at louder volumes. And as a result, listening to on the neutral level, that bass feels subdued and just doesn't come out as more prominent than it should do. As for the mids, you would normally think here that the mids are very much forward sounding as a result of a kind of subdued mid bass. Unfortunately, that's not the case. The mids sound completely drowned out and completely recessed. If you're listening to vocal tracks, so for example, I was listening to the Eagles, Hotel California, the live version, here I found that the vocals just sounded really pushed back and just didn't come out to the foreground as they should do, including with the guitar strums that you hear throughout the song. As for the highs, they do accentuate well in a neutral EQ setting. However, they just fail to kind of deliver at that very top end and therefore do roll off a little bit. As for the soundstage, here's the biggest complaint I had with the Samsung Galaxy Buds and very much the Galaxy Buds Plus. They have the same sort of soundstage, which is pretty poor for True Wireless earbuds coming at this price range. Here, the Creative Outlier Air make them look like completely terrible earphones. It just sounds so closed and just lacks that width and depth that you'd expect. Now, don't get me wrong, if you're coming to True Wireless Buds for the first time and you're coming from stock earbuds or you got these for free for some reason, yes, you'll be perfectly fine with them, which seems to be the case with a lot of Samsung products nowadays when it comes to audio gear. I just seem to see that more often than not, that people have been like, oh, I got these for free, or they were an upgrade of my stock earbuds. Sure, they're going to sound better than your stock earbuds, but you're comparing them to things that you're going to actually buy. So for example, Creative Outlier Air or the Jabra Elite 75T, Libratone Track Air Plus, Sennheiser CX400BT, JBL 300 TWS. There are so many to name, which you'll find down in links in the description below, that in this domain, in terms of soundstage, are far superior and provide you great instrument separation, great width and depth, which aren't things I could say about the Samsung earbuds. Now, this leads me on to my verdict, and truthfully, I've got to kind of reference the sound by AKG that's mentioned on these earbuds. Now, AKG make fantastic headphones, and I don't want to put you off AKG headphones, but these earphones are truthfully a little bit shambolic when it comes to their overall sound quality of presentation. Sure, they're very ergonomic, they look great, and they will work really great with Samsung phones in terms of their scalable codec, and their touch-sensitive pads work fine. But in terms of raw sound quality, I think AKG should be kind of shamed about putting their brand with this. Maybe they don't have a choice because they're owned by Samsung now, but the point is that these earphones really don't portray the AKG brand in any good light, and even the Samsung brand, having owned Samsung soundbars, which are truly one of the best sounding soundbars out there, at least the older models were, in this respect the Buds Plus don't portray good sound presentation of what Samsung's more expensive line can offer. But, you know, that's my opinion and that's my thoughts about it. Having reviewed in excess of 300 different audio-related products and, as I said, 60 different True Wireless earbuds, hopefully you will see that my point of view is very much honest, unbiased and independent. I've got no affiliation with any company, and furthermore, I'm not subdued to any sort of company demands or scared of producing a negative review, as this is the case with the Samsung Galaxy Buds Plus. So I'm sure Samsung won't like it, but if you do like this video, give it a like, subscribe to see more honest content from my channel, and favourite and share, as it'll always help the channel grow. Alright guys, I've been Totally Dubbed, take care and bye bye.